Hi everybody. So I'm making a video today. This video is on seeing spirits. Oh, by the way, I'm Lorina Quigley. I am a psychic medium and an energy healer. And I also have a YouTube channel. That's why I'm making this. All right. I just wanted to do a little bit about seeing spirits and what that's like. And sometimes when you see spirits, you see into the astral plane. Seeing into the astral plane is very similar to Earth, but a little bit different. There's always something that's a little bit different. And sometimes when you see spirits, it could be broad daylight and it looks like a regular human, but it's a spirit. It's just a fascinating world when you jump into this. Now, I am reading the book by Allan Kardec called A Book of Spirits, and it was written, well, I have to look that up. I'm sorry. But I have this book. I do have the book, but it's on Audible and Kindle. But I have the actual physical copy of his other book. This is called The Book of Mediums. Now, it was written in 1874, and it's quite a lengthy book. It's like 458 pages, and it's written in this old English style, so it's a little bit hard to read, just because we're not used to speaking this way, so it's a little bit hard to read. But, okay, this is the first chapter. This is really cool. Experimental Spiritism, Preliminary Ideas. Chapter 1, Are There Spirits? So this is how it starts. This is really interesting stuff. Anyway, and it really gets into the supernatural and what it is like to see spirits and what it might look like and what are spirits doing. How are they communicating with us? What happens when somebody dies and they go into the spirit world? What does that look like? What is it like for them? All of these questions are brought up in these two books. Allan Kardec, and that's spelled Allankardec, Kardec, and the Book of Spirits. I am going to get the physical copy, but right now I have it on Kindle and Audible. But you have to check it out. It's fascinating. Now, the one book, the actual physical copy is close to 700 pages. So there's a lot of information in there about spirits and about seeing spirits and connecting with spirits. How to connect with spirits, how to receive information from spirits. It is really fascinating. At least to me, this is the stuff that I love. At first I wanted to talk about seeing spirits. I think sometimes you may see a spirit and you don't even know that you're seeing a spirit, but then you may. Like, for instance, so once I was hiking in Connecticut. Was it Connecticut? Connecticut, Mount Peakamoose. I was at my friend's, I'm sorry, that's upstate New York. Upstate New York. She lived in Katona. But we happened to go for a hike in Mount Peakamoose. On this hike, this is in the middle of the day, there's 4 of us, I kept seeing this Native American and his horse. He's on an Appaloosa horse. Now, do I even know what an Appaloosa horse is? No, I just knew that is an Appaloosa horse. Not a horse person, never have been. So, anyway, this guy, this Native American, he's off in the distance, but he's not that far away, and he's watching us. Now, is that an apparition? I don't think it's an apparition. I think it was an actual spirit who is able to manifest and look exactly how he looked when he was alive. He had full Native American clothing on. He had that thing down his chest. He had long black hair, very nice looking, very strong. Sitting on his horse, he had, I don't know what they would call it, like a spear, but Again, I'm not sure what it was called. Long leather, some sort of animal skin pants. And I saw him 3 or 4 times while we were hiking, and he was just watching us. Like, I would see him, and then, okay, and I knew he was watching us, and he knew I could see him. And then I'd see him again, a little further into the hike, and then again, a little further into the hike. This is in full daylight. I can see him. And that was quite a magical type of a hike. And I do believe that because some weird thing went on in the hike where one of our friends named Trip fell, just completely collapsed and was in pain and got sick. I think that we kind of walked over a spot where some really bad things, like probably somebody was killed, like right there, because it was a very strange reaction. And then he was better, just like that. Anyway, but my point is this was a very mystical hike. I saw this spirit and his horse in the middle of the day. This was a spirit that I saw who knew somehow how to fully manifest to show that he was there. Anyway, this is seeing a spirit, and it was very unexpected, and it didn't scare me or anything. It's just like, I know you're there. I can see you. Also on seeing spirits, sometimes we see spirits through our periphery vision, and this is like off to the side, and this is the easiest way to see spirits is from your periphery vision. I feel like one of those airline people. Anyway, when you're notice, so you're focused forward, but you're looking here and you're looking here or paying attention while you're focused forward. And it's sort of like if you're driving, you know where you're going and you're watching the road, but you're also focused on your periphery because you're seeing if there's people coming up beside you. You use this part of your vision to see, and this is very well known in metaphysics, in shamanism, this type of thing. When you first start experimenting with trying to see clairvoyantly, you pay attention to what is you see here. So you might see some movement, you might see shadows. It's really good to meditate in a darkened room and open your eyes and see what is on the side of you. This is the best way to try and see clairvoyantly. It works. Definitely works. And it's best to do it kind of in a darkened room, not pitch black, but darkened. And it's good to do it with a group of people only because there's going to be more energy in the room with a group of people if you do that. So just pay attention to what's around you. And you can also close your eyes, go through periods where you have your eyes closed and open, because at some point, moving on to the next thing, you might start seeing more astrally. And so what can happen is that with your eyes closed or open, you see the same thing. So that they start blending and you start seeing more into the astral field, and they kind of blend, and so you see things through your third eye, through your astral vision with your eyes open, and they merge or blend and become the same. So this is really opening up your third eye when you can start seeing astrally. And I've had experiences where I see astrally, and that's when you really start to see or have visions or clairvoyant beings. And I've seen beings. I've seen a level open up and beings walk out. Really tall, like 15-foot tall beings walk into a room. I'm seeing on the astral plane. And the reason why I say that I was seeing on the astral plane is because they walked over to a guy. One stood in front of him, one stood behind him. This is at a class, level 3 mediumship class. And we were just meditating that day in this group, and we all knew each other really well. So everyone was really comfortable. I opened my eyes and I saw this. I saw these beings walk up and out. They walk over to this guy. At some point, the one being, and they're light beings, these are light beings, stand in front of him. He completely disappears, and the chair, he's gone. This guy is gone. And the chair moved back 2 feet. Now, this was on the astral plane. The chair moved back 2 feet on the astral plane. And by the way, that's when I freaked out, when I saw the chair move. I'm like, oh, okay. I've never seen that before. The chair moved back 2 feet. He was gone. Now, I think on the physical level, that chair was still sitting there in the circle where it was. Now, did he physically disappear? I can't answer that because I saw him disappear and I was seeing him on a different level where he disappeared. At some point, and I never asked the guy about what happened in that class. I was too freaked out. And now I don't even remember his name, so I can't find him. But that happened in that class. That is seeing astrally, where things look almost identical, and it's a dark room. Again, a darkened room. When you're seeing things in a darkened room like that, it can look, from the astral plane point of view, it looks almost identical, but it's slightly different. Like, we would sit and meditate, and people, there were a bunch of, some of them, like probably about half of them, started looking like Buddhist monks. So I think that a big part of this group, we were all part of the same sect of some sort of Buddhist, following the Buddhist tradition, were Buddhist monks. And somehow we got ourselves together in the same room and we're meditating and taking this class together. Because there were about 35 people in that class. But this is almost the same thing as transfiguration, and it's seeing into the astral plane. You're starting to see in other dimensional levels. So we're going to just start with astral to keep it simple. Seeing into the astral plane, seeing astrally who somebody was in a past life. And this is what transfiguration is. Or, well, the spiritualists say transfiguration is when a spirit comes through and it blends with the person who's sitting and starts to form a face and a personage, so you can see what that person looks like who's coming through. That is a traditional spiritualist belief that that's what's going on. But you can also see past lives. You can see, like, and I've seen this, like doing energy healing, like just flashes of all these different lives. So that can happen too in a circle where you focus on one person and start seeing in a dark room, you'll start seeing flashes from their past lives and get information too as you're doing it. And also what can come through is, like, say somebody's mom comes through and you'll start seeing that transfigure, like what the mom looked like over the daughter's face. Anyway, just very interesting. That is seeing spirits in a different way, and also seeing past lives, but you're seeing into the astral plane. Do I have anything else to say about that? I took a few notes. Anyway, this is just fun. See if you can get those books. They're not really cheap books, but you can find them. You can get them on Kindle, or so you don't have to pay full price. Anyway, this is a deep dive into spirits and what they look like, and what they can show you. They can show you what they want to show you. And And they can come through, like my friend Jody, when she passed away. I think this is about a couple of months after she died. She had come through and was showing me, and I'm seeing it. I'm leading a class. We're doing a dark circle, which means that the lights are out and we're meditating and communicating with spirits. She comes through and she starts showing me what the death process was like for her as she's popping in and out of her body. Now, she was in a coma for a while, so she was popping, like she was in her body and then out and in and out until she finally left. And she was showing me what that process was. And when she passed away finally, when her spirit left her body, she was fully aware that she was on the other side and had passed and was completely separated from her physical body. And she was really happy. She was laughing and going, "This is the best thing ever." And that's what it was like for her. Of course, we were sad. She was happy. As we all know, it's hard being here in the physical realm. It's just not easy. In fact, it's quite rough. Anyway, so she was super happy. Some people are confused when they pass away, especially if it's really quick, or if like an accident or somebody murdered them. Can I say that on here? They, anyway, or died from an overdose. These type of things. When these things happen, the spirit can be quite confused when they pass to the other side. Now, she got hit. She was on a bike and got hit. Well, she ran into a car on her bike, and she was in a coma for about a week. And so this is how I see it, that she knew, because when you're in a coma, you can jump out of the body, check out the environment, you know what's going on. She knew what was going on. She knew what was happening. So when she finally passed, she was fine. She was fine with it. In fact, she was quite happy. Anyway, so when people do pass, there can be confusion about if they're even dead, that they might not know it, and it might take a little while to figure it out. When my brother passed, but he had suffered from a long illness, cystic fibrosis. He died when he was 22. Yeah, 22. I was 21. After he died, that same day that he died, I absolutely 100% knew that he was standing behind me. I knew he was standing behind me. I'm standing in my bedroom looking out the window because I lived with my parents at that time. And I knew absolutely 100%. I could feel his presence behind me. And I just had this, I know you're there. I know you're there. And I felt that love and compassion that coming from him, because he knew how sad I was, and I was really quite sad. And anyway, but I could feel it very, very strongly at that time. I was not seeing into the astral plane, but I knew absolutely that I was connected to him. He was connecting with me and letting me know that he was right behind me and that he was supporting me and sending love. Anyway, this is just some of the things that can happen in the spirit world. And the other day, this was this week, like 2 nights ago, I had a client who had some very serious heart issues, and we did an energy healing on her. And she was being told that she needed to get a pacemaker. So serious heart problem. And so we did an energy healer, and then she called in a panic after we did an energy healing, saying that the doctors want her to come in for testing, like now. Like it was that serious. And so I said, okay. So I couldn't tune in again at that moment. So later that night, after I had been doing a meditation circle with a bunch of people, so I was in the perfect space to go further into meditation. So this is probably around 8:30 at night or so, after I'd already been meditating for a little while with a group. I tuned in, and my sister showed up. Now, earlier that day, my sister Jana had shown up in spirit. I saw her very clearly. I saw her red curly hair. And she came to me in spirit in dreams. So spirits can come to us in dreams, and it is real. They are showing up. She gave me lots of information about my life and really helped me after she passed. And she died when she was 18. She died from cystic fibrosis again. And there were, anyway, so she was with me earlier that day during another meditation thing. And I could see her curly hair and her standing there. And all of a sudden she just popped in. And the first thing I saw was her red curly hair. I didn't even see her face yet. I just saw this red curly hair. I knew it was Jana. And she gave me some information, some really nice information. So later on that night, she came in again to help with giving messages for this woman who was going to be going into the hospital and most likely receiving a pacemaker. And the information that she gave was so calm and loving. And I can't give the whole message because it's too personal, applied to her. But so that evening after I meditated, I gave her the message that was coming from Jana to give to her. So this is how we receive information from Spirit and how we can share that with people for healing, for peace, and for love, and to also to help bring closure to people, because it's so difficult when we lose people in our lives. And anyway, so Jana hasn't shown up for a while for any kind of reading. So it was my brother usually comes through, Marlon. But so this was really, really nice that she came through to give messages to her. Anyway, and Jana was the person who told me that she told me in a dream that I just like 3 months after she died, that I was going to be a hairdresser. I should go to hair school. I was going to do all these things, but I was going to do other things at some point in my life. And it would be like climbing a ladder, and I would progress. And this is the other thing. What I do now is the other thing that she told me that I would do. So I had her blessing. But it's more than her blessing. When she comes through and assists with giving messages, it's so special to me that that she does that. And that's what our loved ones can do for us. And that's how Spirit shows up in our lives. And that's what it can look like. Anyway, I think I'll end that here because that seems like a nice place to end this video. So again, I do readings and healings. And if you want any more information from me, it's on my website. There's a link to it on this video. And anyway, oh yeah, and I do them remote and in person. Anyway, and it can be a really powerful, beautiful healing experience to connect with our loved ones who are on the other side. I love it. That's me. Anyway, if sometimes we need things in our lives that help us, give us a boost, help us to know that we are connected, not just to each other in body and physically, but also in spirit. Because when we connect with Spirit, there's so much love. There's so much love, and healing comes from that. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Have a great day, everybody. See you soon.